Hello and welcome. Welcome to yet another interesting video. This time we're going to talk about eye health and everything you need to know in order to keep your healthy eyesight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Magdalena Bednarek, and I'm a recall healing health coach, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, an herbalist, and acupuncturist. And this is a story of how I reversed my eyesight. When I was very little, I had my first set of very huge glasses. I did not see well to a point that I remember my mother used to say, I would walk on a straight line and I would fall down because I couldn't see well. This is how bad my eyesight was. And as you go to a doctor, you go to get your eyes checked, and all they do is they tell you what's wrong with you, and then they give you a prescription. That's it. They don't give you any hope. They don't tell you that you can fix this, that this is not something that it is taught in medical school. So it is not their fault. But today, my eyesight is perfect. Those are simply circadian rhythm glasses that we will talk about later. They're non-prescription. I don't need to wear glasses anymore like I used to, which some may say is a miracle. It's not. It is not, and you will find out in this video exactly what was causing my eyesight changes and disruption. And so let's begin. Now, as you know, I always talk about any disease in three aspects, always, because every single disease has three reasons, and there's also three methods of healing. So the reasons for any disease is three aspects: the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, and the energetical aspect. So the physical aspect is the closest to Western medicine and functional medicine, which is very easy to understand because it's if you know anatomy, you will know the reasons why something is wrong within your body. The second reason, which is emotional, it's the recall healing. It is going on the path of how we feel. And the third aspect, the energetical, this is the closest that I can compare it to traditional Chinese medicine, because traditional Chinese medicine is all about energy. When I was in school, in medical grad school, they do have you memorize all the meridians, all the meridian points, which is basically how your energy flows within your body. There's nothing more to it. And so any disruption in your energy field will cause manifestation of physical symptoms, including the eyes. So today we're going to discuss your eye health from a perspective of traditional Chinese medicine, Western medicine, and a functional medicine approach. Also emotional health, which is recall healing, which is a branch of German new medicine. Now, for some of you, this may be familiar. For some of you, this may be a totally new subject. Now, here's what you need to remember. You have a right to your own opinion. You don't have to believe me. Completely optional. I am not here to persuade you. I am here to tell you what I did to improve my eyesight. Okay, that's it. I am just sharing my experience. I'm sharing what I learned along the way, and it is completely up to you. What do you want to do with this knowledge? Okay, Western medicine, very easy, right? That's it. So, Western medicine, it is all about mineral and vitamin balance. Of course, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And what I want you to understand is those are the three vitamins your doctor will never check on regular basis. It's notice how you go every year to get your yearly checkup and your doctor does blood work. What vitamin do they check for? D. That's it. And probably you're low in D. Because if you're low in vitamin C, it's impossible for vitamin D to actually be transformed into its active form. But they don't tell you that. And they will never check for vitamin C. Why? Well, it's an easy fix. Vitamin C is not a business, and it's very cheap and it's widely available. And with proper dosing, it literally fixes everything. So over here, I just want to recommend a great book for you that is based on medical studies. Dr. Rath wrote a book entitled Why Don't Animals Get Heart Attacks, But People Do? That entire book is based on proper supplementation of all the vitamins. The first one he talks about is vitamin C. What do we have to understand about vitamin C? It's our healing. It's our healing vitamin. There's no healing within your body if you don't have vitamin C. And there's only three species on Earth that do not produce their own vitamin C. Your dog, your cat, your hamster, they produce their own vitamin C in their liver. All animals do, except for humans, guinea pigs, and a few species of bats. That's it. We do have genetic expression for that, but it's just not expressed. Yeah, it's another conspiracy theory, but it's true. It's based on studies. And we don't take nearly enough of vitamin C. Now, I will not make any medical advice or recommendations except for you to read the book, because you will learn how to properly dose your vitamin C. Same thing goes for vitamin E. Most of us are deficient. When I had my micronutrient tested 3-4 years ago, I was severely low in vitamin E. What is your vitamin E? Vitamin E is your elasticity. It is your collagen production. Yes, our body produces our own collagen, except it needs building blocks. Without building blocks, the body cannot produce enough collagen, and collagen is everywhere. It's part of the connective tissue. And of course, vitamin D, it protects the cornea from damage. And we will talk about how we damage our cornea, how we damage our eyesight, and what are the major reasons for that to actually happen. So that's it. This is your Western medicine approach. There's nothing to it. There's no fancy explanation. This is very basic facts. This, you can Google it all. And yes, I highly do recommend for you to get blood work done for vitamin A, C, and E. And when you ask your doctor to check those, oh, they will snap at you. So just be ready. Be ready to explain to them. Tell them that this crazy lady named Lena told you to get it tested. I'll take the blame. Okay, now let's go to functional health. So functional health is a little different. And I'm not sure if you can see on this photo, my eyesight changed. I'm sorry, my eye color changed. It used to be deep brown, the one that is in the, you can see in the middle, right around the pupil, but it's becoming faded green. And the more detox support I do with herbs, the more the green becomes the whole. So my eye color was never brown. It was just that because I was born with MTHFR gene mutation, with DAO enzyme mutation, my body was not properly detoxing. So my body was filled with toxins, pathogens, and other things. So it was expressed in an eye color, and no one ever mentioned that to me. So, in functional health, when you have floaters or a lot of red capillaries, right now I don't have a lot, but I used to. Like my eyes were red. It may be a sign of parasitic infestation, especially pinworms. And before we move any further, I want to talk to you about pinworms and give you the basic mechanisms of how we get them. Yes, pinworm is the most common parasite everywhere where there's societies of people. Why is it the most common? Because the eggs are airborne. All you have to do is have low immunity, high stress, and walk through the school, walk through the store, and you're breathing it in, and no mask can save you there. It's so microscopic. And then what happens when we inhale the pinworm egg? Guess where it goes? To your sinuses. A lot of it is blocked in the sinuses because the sinuses anatomical function is protection. And exactly that's what it does, except if we inhale a lot of them and we have a bad day. Let's say we're super stressed, our cortisol is high, and our immunity is low, and it just goes through. So, what's the closest organ besides the brain to the sinuses? Yes, it's your eyes. And pinworms then make a journey down into your intestines where they live for multiple cycles. I did pull a pinworm out of my eye once. Yes, I did. Because I have 3 children, all school age, and we do deworm on a regular basis. That's what we do. For pinworms, there's no fancy treatment. It's over the counter rhesus medicine, except if you feel like it's much deeper than that. If you suffered from severe headaches for multiple years, then it's much deeper in your tissue because, of course, the over-counter medicine addresses the intestinal infestation. So in order for you to do a deeper cleanse, we are talking about systemic herbal cleanse, which you can get through me. So DM me and I'll give you my contact information at the end of this video if you are interested. Because yes, any type of parasite can live in any tissue in your body, anywhere. So this is just one of the signs. I used to have floaters. I don't anymore. This is, and I remember going to ophthalmologist and he said, oh, well, this is normal. This is what you'll just have for the rest of your life. Imagine if I accepted that truth and I went on living thinking I can never fix my eyes. Imagine how many people do. Imagine, instead of working on the root causes, we just put a Band-Aid on it, you know? So let's move on to the liver. And we're going to talk more about that in traditional Chinese medicine. And I feel... Okay, for unknown reason, my slide disappeared. There was one more slide, and I'm going to talk about it. Because we were supposed to start with traditional Chinese medicine. Okay, and so we will. The slide somehow got missed. I apologize. Okay, in traditional Chinese medicine, the eyes are a reflection of the liver health. When we're diagnosing and we're looking at the eyes, we can tell you what your liver health is like, because the eyes are manifestation of the liver health. And in traditional Chinese medicine, there are spirits associated with each major organ. And the spirit that lives within the liver is called the Hun. The Hun is active during the day, and it acts for the Shen. The Shen is a spirit of the heart, and we can think of the Shen as your spirit, like your soul or your connection to the soul. I'm sure you heard a saying, the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And so during the day, the Shen, the heart, is asleep, but during the it activates during the night. But during the day, the Hun watches, gathers information. Everything that happens in your life, it is marked by the Hun, and then the spirit of Hun relies all the information to the Shen at night. And then you either have a very normal Shen or disturbed Shen. And so the liver in traditional Chinese medicine is the emotion of anger. So any excess or unprocessed anger will be stored in your liver, causing dysfunction. This is how people get the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This is how I got liver failure 11 years ago. When I was 33, my liver failed, and it wasn't for no reason. My diet was the same as everybody else's. It was because, like I said, I was born with MTHFR gene mutation, which also means that I was carrying anger that wasn't necessarily mine. But I learned it because as a child, I observed. And when there's a lot of anger around you, especially within your parents, we children, we take that on us. So there was a lot of anger. If the Hun, and this is, again, this is, a myth. This is what we learn in the energy world. The Hun during the day notices anything that makes you angry. The more angry you are, the worse off your heart health is, which is the Shen, which is your soul. Your soul literally can be suffering. And how easy it is to get angry in our times. All you have to do is turn on the news. All you have to do is scroll down on social media and see something you don't like, and you react with anger and you leave that hating comment. It's very easy. If you don't know who to hate, turn on the news and then you get angry at someone. They always tell you to be angry at someone. Notice how easy it is. Instead of understanding why this triggers me, why am I so emotionally invested? Why am I? Because every time you get angry, you actually lose energy. You lose your vital chi energy. And that's why people get older so much sooner, because they don't have their essence. Their essence is basically gone. So this is the traditional Chinese medicine explanation. So it is the spirit that will notice everything you do, but predominantly it will notice anything that makes you angry. Do an exercise and write down how many times did you get angry? Today, yesterday, just notice or write down what makes you angry the next time you get angry, and see how it repeats itself, because the body is a map. The body will literally tell you what is wrong. It will give you symptoms so that you address underlying emotional issues in order for you to fix it. This is how sophisticated this machine of a body is. Everything happens for a reason. Now, if you want to live in this world thinking that things happen randomly, by mistake, by accident, and I never know if, I'll get sick or if something will happen to me, then this is your choice. I don't believe in that. I believe everything has a reason. And if anything negative happens to me, I don't call it a problem anymore. I call it a lesson. And then I can learn this lesson, let it go, and it never comes back. But again, that is the perspective that I have learned. And if you stick around with me, I'll show you ways how to learn it. So that's traditional Chinese medicine. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know why the slide did not save. Now, functional health. Let's go to the liver. While we're on the liver needs three main amino acids in order to rebuild itself most efficiently, and that is lysine, glycine, and taurine. And those three are fundamental for the liver health. I know many people who had their gallbladder taken out, and I do have a video about a gallbladder. It's not the gallbladder's fault that it had the stones, because it doesn't have a function to produce anything. It was the liver. And yet we're trying to fix the liver by removing the gallbladder, which makes zero sense. We're doing the gallbladder flushes, which also makes zero sense, because you have to continue do them forever and ever and ever, instead of addressing the main liver issue, which is if you give the liver the tools it needs to rebuild itself, it will. And please remember the liver's function. Liver is my favorite subject. I wrote my master's paper on the liver meridian. The liver is responsible for so much. So in Western medicine, the liver literally filters, cleans your blood. It gets rid of pathogens. It is the liver that decides what goes where, which vitamin will be stored, which vitamin will be used, which amino acid will go where, which fat will be used for what function. It is the liver's decision. Liver is like the headquarters. The brain sends the signal, and then the liver does the job. The liver always works, and in traditional Chinese medicine, your liver is your general. The general literally needs a mission, which means your life's purpose. If you don't have your life's purpose, the general cannot win the war for you. That's just an anecdote. Okay, and with the eye color change, you will notice you feel different. You will, because it indicates how your things are on the inside. Your eyes, this is important, your eyes is the only part of your nervous system that is on the outside. The only part. This is how we view the world. This is how we get the message of our surroundings. It's very, very important. And let's go into emotional healing, which is recall healing, a branch of German New Medicine. So in recall healing, we always say that there's a conflict. We also believe that the body already has all the tools it needs to heal itself. But unless we understand and resolve the conflict, the brain cannot send the signal to resolve it, because the brain can, but it doesn't. It's waiting for you to literally process whatever caused the conflict. And this has been proven. Conflict of seeing or not seeing. Let's think about it. Conflict of seeing or not seeing. So any issue with the eyes. My eyesight was very bad when I was little. Why? Because I was watching my parents get divorced. I was watching a mother who was severely depressed, who didn't want to be there, who I saw them fight. I saw other children live with their parents, and I saw my family breaking apart. I also lived in Poland during a communist time, and there was like that time of my life is literally like a black and white movie. There was there was almost nothing. And so I was seeing what I didn't want to see. I had dreams and aspirations, and I wanted to be someone else. But what I was really seeing in my reality, I didn't want to look at that. So my brain sent the signal, oh, you don't have to. I'll make you so you don't have to look at that reality. And I've suffered with eye issues most of my life until probably like 5 years ago when I started doing a really deep emotional cleanse. And I finally loved my reflection in the mirror, and I loved everything about my life. That's when magic happened. That's when I didn't have to do anything. No supplements, no nothing. Just I woke up one day and like, oh, I can see. I don't need my glasses to drive, to read. Yeah. So this is the conflict of seeing or not seeing something that we want to see. When I was little, I really wanted to see my parents in love. I wanted to see them hug. I wanted to see them being nice to each other. I had the need for that. And I didn't. And I'll tell you a fact from my life. I got divorced over 2 months ago, and my eyesight became fuzzy. It became blurred, and I was like, oh, well, I wonder what's happening. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to see that reality right now. I knew I had to go through that period, and I still am going through healing. But my body right away said, okay, you don't want to just look at it up close. You don't want to look at it up close. It literally expressed my emotions right away, almost right away, which was kind of scary how fast that works. And then when we're talking about eye nerve optic conflict, it is fear of seeing or not seeing. So there's a difference between you want to see something that is not there, or you're afraid to see something. Like if you, and here's the trick part about this, if you are a witness to something horrible in your childhood that you may not remember, your eyes will continue to acknowledge that. For instance, most of people, my grandma's generation, who were very little when World War II started, they all wore glasses, all of them. They just didn't want to see. I mean, my grandma went through horrors. So something very big. Another conflict is conflict of disappearing in the family. If someone just left and left no trace after themselves within a family, it doesn't have to be a close family. It can be an uncle, can be someone further away from you, but still, you have the conscience, oh, they left. I wonder what happened to them. Your eyes will not want to see that kind of reality as a child, of course. And then conflict of seeing someone drown, that leaves huge traumatic emotional imbalance within us because it creates a lot of fear. And then there's two aspects of the tearing that were mentioned in the Recall Healing book. So the eyes tearing, like watery eyes in the sun, that just means you have an absent father or you miss your father, because the sun is very young, very masculine. And then tearing, impossible, just regular, like for no reason, my eyes are tearing. It's impossible to have a loving relationship with your mother. So that's one of the indications of that. And again, this is very hard to pinpoint because at some point in our life, something bad will happen. We all go through trauma. That's normal. Like we're supposed to be challenged in our life. We're not supposed to have this nice and wonderful no conflict life. Challenges and stress are healthy, except when it becomes chronic. when you live in fight or flight, when your nervous system starts to dysregulate, then we're looking at an issue. And let's say you were someone like me, born with genetic mutations, parents went through divorce, your mother's second relationship was even worse than the first marriage, like you went through a nightmare, and then you moved to a different country, and then you went through isolation and being not accepted, and like so many things in my life where what's the word I want to use, discouraging, that my eyes were just like, no, I don't want to see that reality. This is not my reality. I'm not going to look at it. And then of course I went through periods of time where I was very overweight, and so every time I would look in the mirror I'd be like, no, that's not me. I don't like her. And that is for some of us the biggest issue, and we will talk about it later on. What do we have next? Okay. So what affects our eyes negatively? Okay. Contacts, yes, because they're plastic. They are synthetic material made in a factory. They are not natural. We are natural organic beings. Everything we touch, and I think I talk about it in every single video I make, everything we touched is being absorbed. So if you're wearing polyester, it is being absorbed by your skin. Micropores absorb the microparticles, and we accumulate pathogens and toxins and chemicals over the years. And imagine this, you put something on your eyes, which is your most outer part of your nervous system. This cannot be good. In time, it will create an issue. If you're young and healthy, you're probably good, but we'll see in 10, 20, 30 years from now and see what issues you have. So yes, if you have to wear glasses, that is my recommendation. Now, screen time and device time, especially first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Now, I know for many of us, this is our job. This is what we do. We cannot stay away from it. And we'll talk about it. What do? You will not catch me without wearing eye protection when I stare at the screen, when I talk to you guys, or when I record. Why? Oh, it has many wonderful, wonderful benefits. We'll talk about it later. Now, sunglasses. Yes, the fashion, that the dysfunction that became the norm, and we call it the fashion, how wonderfully manipulated we were. There's a book about it, there's many studies done. Guys, like I said, our nervous system is the most outer part of our nervous system. It determines your hormonal balance. So, what happens to you when you put on sunglasses and the sun is out and it's daytime? This is fascinating. I stopped wearing sunglasses, I think, in 2020 or 2021 when I did the research, and the boost of energy I got from that, oh my goodness, over the years, of course, because it takes years for the dysfunction to happen. It's going to take years for it to actually get better. So what happens is when you put on shades over your eyes and the sun is out, your brain automatically thinks, oh, it's nighttime, let me produce some melatonin. And then the nighttime comes and your brain's like, well, I already produced my daily dose of melatonin. I don't have enough. So we're just going to stay up, because you need that hormone in order to relax and fall asleep. So this is where a lot of insomnia comes in. This is where a lot of gain weight comes from, because then when one hormone is affected, guess what? Every other hormone will soon be affected. It will affect your mood. It will affect your digestion. It will affect your fertility, everything. Yes, such a small thing as covering your eyes. I don't wear sunglasses. What I do is I wear a hat if I have to. Yeah, even when I went to the tropical islands, I did survive without sunglasses. I did wear a hat though. It's very simple. You can cover it from up here, but not. We need those sun exposure. A lack of sun exposure, the next one. So when we have a choice, and we are so modern and we are so domesticated, that when we have a choice, oh, I have some free time, what will I do? Most of us resolves to either staying on their devices watching TV or taking a nap inside. So little of us think of, oh, I'll go outside, I'll go for a walk, I'll spend some time outside, I'll open the window. Why? There's so many people I actually met that don't open the window here in America. I don't know why. Like, I always open the window. It's like I think it's a European thing that we do. It's not just about a fresh air circulation, but also, you do need you do need to have more sun available to you. So yeah, that's one of the reason. And then some people do meditations with the sunset and the sunrise. That's not necessary if you spend an adequate amount of times outside during the day. Lucky are those who work outside, literally. But for the rest of us who work inside, it could be a challenge. It has to be a decision, something that you need to make for yourself. Toxic makeup, yes. Everything, like I said, will be absorbed through the micropores. And then we have so many issues, especially for those of us like me with MTHFR gene mutation who don't detox properly. And then the next one is lack of self love, your reflection, and we will talk about it. So, what can we do to improve our eyes? Okay, those are vivarays.com. They are circadian rhythm blue light blockers. Discount code is Mama Lena. They did wonders for me. They not only are they stylish and make me look super smart, but they really do the job of protecting my eyes. So what happens is when I look at the screen, like right now, I'm looking at the computer screen emits the blue light, and the blue light flickers. It's like LED light, and the brain, when it's exposed to it, it takes it as a threat. So right away, you go into fight or flight, right away, and then it becomes chronic because so many of us work on a computer. And then your brain thinks, oh, everything is a threat. I'll just stay in a fight or flight. And this nervous system dysregulation, which then is a cause for so many diseases. I can't even begin to explain to you what kind of horrible nervous system dysregulation I had. They literally saved my life. Literally. So, and they have three lights. So those are for the daytime. Orange one is for after the sunset. And then the red ones I use right before going to bed. Why? Because for ancient people who lived without electricity, this was our light. This is what we were exposed to. So we were exposed to fire at night because there was no light, electricity, and we were exposed to early kind of orangey, yellowish light because it was the sun in the morning. And then after the sunset, we would start the fire, and the fire would turn red as we fell asleep. And we used to live much more closely with our circadian rhythm. It would be, of course, ideal if we could, but we can't because, kids got school, you have work, so you kind of have to adapt. This is the next best thing. Like I always tell people, it would be perfect if you wake up with the sunrise and went to bed with the sunset. This is how we were literally made to function. But then what do? The sun sets at, what is it, at 5, and we're up till 10. So we're way past our bedtime. We're not even tired. Why? Because we're so exposed to all the devices, all the electrical inputs into our brain, and we kind of lose our rhythm. And we are organic beings. We were made with this earth, with the sun, so we do need to live in harmony with it. This was the best investment that I've ever made. I think I have 3 pairs of those. I have one in my bedroom, one in the office, another one in the living room, just in case I need it. And, sales is coming up. So you guys check out vivarays.com. It's an amazing, amazing improvement. They also make prescription glasses. Yes, they do. So this is an amazing gift. Balanced vitamins. So this is a multivitamin that I use. It's Core Nutrients by Cellcore Biosciences. DM me to get yours. Find me on Instagram, Universal Mama Lena Academy. I'll get you my registration code because you need a practitioner in order to purchase Cellcore's products. Now, I don't like to take any supplements forever and ever, indefinitely, because that's just pharmacy. That's just like pharmaceutical business works. What I like to do is cycle. So what I do is I take a vitamin for 3 months, and then I take 3 months off to allow my body to self-regulate. So I'm going to start taking it again next month because I don't want my body to get used to it. But I do want to provide the benefits of having, I already follow a balanced diet, but we do need help. Like we do. There's not enough, nearly not enough minerals and vitamins within our food in our current times. So I do highly recommend that you find, if not this one, find a good one that is very absorbable. I'm sorry, can't think. Bioavailable. This supplement has activated carbon technology, and we are 17% carbon. So we need carbon in order to actually absorb vitamins and minerals into our body. And so this is probably the best multivitamin I've ever tried. But don't be fooled. Some people are very happy they get cheap vitamins. And then they're very upset when they find out that they only absorb 2% or less of what the label actually says. Yeah. So it's something that you do need to look at. And then let's talk about self acceptance. It comes from the inside, and it tells us if you're aligned with your soul, your own good. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the thinking patterns. But I want you to understand the health of your eyes depends on what you see every single day. If you open your eyes and you hate your room, you hate your apartment, you hate your house, you hate your family, you hate your husband, you hate your wife, your your eyes are going to get worse and worse because your brain will try to protect you. Your brain cannot do the emotional work for you, so it will do the next best thing. Oh, you hate to look at it? I'll make it so you don't look at it. I'll get rid of your eyesight. That's the only thing your brain can do to protect you if you're unwilling to address your emotions. Like I said, if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, you hate what you see, it makes you angry, then guess what? Your eyes are going to get worse and worse and worse. For other people, is their bank account. Yeah, that can get you depressed. For most of us, it is still the good old news. You turn on the news and then you will 100% see something you don't like, you don't agree with. And it's worth to remember that we are all entitled to our own opinions. Just because I know something to be right, I'm not going to dislike you just because you don't agree with me. I have my own truth and you have your own truth. And this perspective allows me to look at things and not be triggered because I don't care. My truth does not need defending. And I trust my own experience and everything that happened to me. I have a beautiful experience of reversing 9 autoimmune diseases. I've been in full remission for many years now, and I was told I have no chance. And doesn't matter to me what anybody else says. I know how I feel. I am 44 years old today, and I feel better than I did when I was 20. So managing your stress response and addressing everything in your life that makes you angry is crucial. Another reason for anger to arise is if someone crosses your boundaries, if someone does something that doesn't align with you, but yet you are unable to speak up. You're unable to set a boundary and say, listen, that doesn't work for me. Or this hurts my feeling. Can you please stop? And that person keeps on ignoring you, and you keep on getting angrier and angrier. Instead of releasing the situation, anger is like, think of anger as poison, okay? Anger is poison that you drink, and you expect the person who made you angry to be sick. But what does the poison do when we drink it? It poisons our body. We get sick, not the other person. The other person simply showed you what is unprocessed within your body. And what I discovered to be working the best is to be present. And this is the ego part. And here I will send you off to read Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, because I read it twice. And I think the first time I read it, I was not ready for the information. And now I understand how much our past and a fantasy of our future dictates how we behave today. And we are totally missing the right now We're either sending our mind to the past and it tells us how to react today because of what something happened to us in the past, or we send it into the future and we're just daydreaming and imagining things and we're waiting for things to happen. And the mind can work only in the now. But that is an art. That is something that we have to learn. It kind of reminds me of why people drink alcohol, why there's so many alcoholics in the world. They do it to escape their reality. They are unwilling to face their reality, say what bothers them, set standards, set boundaries, start the self acceptance process, which comes from the inside, not from the way you look. No, it has nothing to do with the way you look. The way you look is a reflection of what you think of yourself. So that's what alcoholics do. And then I realized I was doing that too when I was drinking. So I stopped drinking completely 4 years ago. And when someone asks me why I don't drink, I say, well, I love my life so much. I don't want to miss a second. I don't want to be unconscious. Like, I love what I do. I enjoy myself. I enjoy my family. I am so curious about life and where it's going to take me that I don't want to be unconscious, you know? And that process reversed my eyesight damage. There's another thing that I have to tell you for those of you who are not aware. For those of you who, like me, are book nerds, there's a wonderful book about one of the issues is the eyesight problem. So Mark Wallen wrote a book entitled "It Didn't Start with You," and in this book, his journey to health, to emotional well-being, began with him going blind. And the doctors just told him, you will be blind forever. And he has perfect eyesight now when he fixed the most core issues that we can fix, which is our relationship with our parents. That's where it all begins. You cannot do any emotional work if you hold grudges against your parents. Holding a grudge against your parent is like holding a grudge against yourself, because you are 50% your mother, 50% your father. So let's say I'm mad at my mother, then I block my feminine energy and I hold a grudge against myself. I hate myself in 50% because that's where I came from. And there's multiple ways to do it, but I had to mention that fact because the doctors then told Mark Wallen that they don't know how it's possible, because from a Western medicine perspective, he should be blind, and yet he can see everything clearly. And that's exactly what happened to me. Some of us need that push with a disease. I always say my autoimmune diseases were a gift because I am where I am thanks to them. I would never wake up and see the world for what it really is and start the healing process if the universe didn't gift me with all of those wonderful gifts of diseases. And back when I was sick, it was horrible. But today, I talk about it like it was my past life, because that was a totally different person with completely different perception of the world, carrying so much hatred, drinking poison every day, expecting to be healthy. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, that is all I have for you today. I hope it cleared some issues and it will make you look at your life in a different perspective. Follow along if you don't follow me on Instagram, Universal Mama Lena Academy. Also, if you are interested in my healing journey, I wrote an ebook, How I Reversed Autoimmune Diseases, which is available on my website, umlacademy.com. Thank you for joining me and have a wonderful day.